Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Laws of Life webcast network. And today's show is My Legal Advocate, brought to you by Marecki and Madola. And I'm here today with my host, Juan Madola. How are you, Juan?
I'm doing well, Blanca. Thank you. Happy Friday. How are you doing?
Happy Friday, TGIF. And Marecki and Madola is doing something really amazing with their webcast. They are really creating a message of public safety. So, what is our topic today, Juan?
Today's topic is going to be on tire safety and why it's so important.
So, what are the stats right now on tire accidents?
Well, unfortunately, around 19,000 car accidents are caused every year for nothing else other than negligent tire maintenance.
Wow, that's unbelievable. And why is tire safety so important?
Well, if you just think about it logically, I mean, out of all that machinery and the motor and all that, the only thing that's touching the ground are your four tires. So you could have the greatest car in the world. If your tires are not in good condition, you're going to have some issues. For example, with something like hydroplaning, where the your tires, when your car is hydroplaning, there's actually a little diagram there. Believe it or not, your car is not even touching the ground. If you don't have the right tread on your tire, there's going to come a moment where the tire can't get rid of the water underneath that's touching the ground fast enough, and you are literally floating on water, on a thin layer of water.
Oh
And
my
that's why
God.
your car is not reacting when you slam your brakes.
That, you know what? Seeing this image really connects how important it is to really be aware of tire safety and also educate your teens about this and have them realize this stuff is saving lives. We've got to get aware of the tire safety. So, thanks for talking. What are some ways we can drive better to preserve our tires?
Well, some of the common things you may try to do on your own anyway, things like avoiding a hard stop, aggressive turns, meaning you're slamming your brakes as you're making a fast turn, or suddenly accelerating, where you hear the screeching sounds. That's your tires spinning on the ground trying to get going. And also, just one quick thing about hydroplaning, just a quick tip. I know it's hard in the moment, but if you don't slam your brakes, don't slam your brakes when you're hydroplaning. That's the best advice I can give you. If you slam your brakes, you're going to lose it. You're going to lose control. The best thing you can do is just let the car do its thing until you feel it kind of catch the ground again.
Yeah, that's very good advice. And everybody, like we talked about in last week's show, stop the cell phone texting. That's a big reason why these stops are happening. These public safety messages are interconnected. Get off your cell phones. And thank you, Camille Robb, for watching and for your positive feedback. We wish you a happy morning. And what are the main causes of accidents that involve tires these days?
Well, most of them involve with letting them run for too long without changing them. You'll end up noticing that your tires are bald, um, meaning it has no tread. Big blowouts because of the lack of tread. Oftentimes there have been big lawsuits back. I remember the Firestone tire days where a lot of their tires that were being put on SUVs were blowing out just out of a defect, a product's defect, for example. Nothing that anybody was doing wrong negligently. The tires were just built wrong. Sometimes they sell tires past an expiration date where the rubbers just existed for too long.
Wow, that's amazing. And for those of you just tuning in, I'm speaking with Juan Madola, partner with Marecki and Madola. You can always call them for all your legal needs, 561-847-2868. We're talking about the public message of tire safety. So, what are 6 ways we can prevent a car accident involving a tire problem?
Well, one big thing is just being able to schedule regular checks on your own. We set a lot of things on our calendar, maybe set on your calendar for once every 3 months on the same date of the month to check your tire tread. If it's time to change your tires, make sure you do your research for a couple of reasons. You don't want to go to a dealership and whatever number they say, you pay the top dollar for something that you can get for less. And you also don't want to get the least expensive tire and risk your safety to save a couple bucks. But the biggest maintenance thing you can do is just check your tire pressure. Make sure you know what tire pressure is recommended for that tire for your particular car, and make sure it's at that within that range at all times.
That is such good advice. So, are all tires created equal?
No, absolutely not. Um, there's actually three core metrics that separate one tire from another. And you'll be able to tell from pricing. Usually you get what you pay for.
Wow. And tell me a little bit about, it seems like treading, the tread value is probably one of the most important, probably one of the biggest causes. When is it time to change that tire?
Right. So you can tell when you get a new tire how deep the tread marks are. So, for example, a good way to check is you may have heard the penny trick or the quarter trick, where you could take a penny and it's supposed to be 2/32 or 1/16 of an inch. Pretty much, there's a metric, there's a little diagram up that kind of shows where it's at. If you can see the top of Lincoln's head when you put it in between the treading, um, that means that you're still okay. If you're at a place where you can not, that the top of Lincoln's head is not covered, that's where you're getting to that place where the tire's been on the road for too long. And obviously, the less tread you have, the less traction you have, the slower it'll take you to stop. So a lot of times people will wonder why I couldn't stop in time when I rear-ended somebody, and I don't know what happened. Then you check the tires and you see that they're completely bald, and that really explains it.
That is such a powerful image. I mean, I'm really loving the imagery that you're bringing in to illustrate your points. Because listen, with one penny, you can test your own tread. And you've got to do that, because if you don't test your tread, then you're going to wind up hydroplaning. So, God forbid, we don't want these things to happen. And this show is about prevention. And also, we're going to be interviewing other public safety agencies like Mothers Against Drunk Driving, the National Security Advisory Council. If you're affiliated with any groups that care about traffic and public safety, let us know, and we'd like to invite them to be a guest on My Legal Advocate, because this firm, Marecki and Medola, is really dedicated to promoting public safety and putting the community first. They're also a sponsor of the Webcast Network and the weekly networking group on Tuesday at 11. And what would be another tool someone could buy to measure tread?
It's always good to have, if you're not driving a new car. A lot of new cars or new leases now, they come with kits that have tire changing kits and tire gauges. But if you don't have one, you're really going to want to buy a tire gauge. If your car doesn't have electronically tell you on the dashboard what your tire pressure is at, you have to check it at least once a week. You don't know if you have if you get a nail in your tire, for example. Now tires are made in a way where a nail can get in your tire and drive, and you'll slowly be leaking air from your tire. Eventually, you could be at 35 one day, and then within 2 days you'll be at 21. I know that because it's happened to me in the last month.
Yeah.
And you can't really tell too much of a difference when you're driving if your tire's not flat on the ground. But if you get on a highway and you have 21 or 20 pressure, you have a significant chance of blowing on the highway, and that's something you don't want to be doing. So a tire gauge is something important to have in your car at all times.
That's another amazing idea. And just so everybody out there knows, you can call Juan anytime at 561-847-2868. Juan is a part of the Laws of Life Network. His firm, Marecki and Medola, sponsors the networking group. They're in our community, located in Lake Worth, Florida. They do cover cases throughout the state of Florida, and you can get a free consultation. Does not cost any money for a consultation. Is that right?
That's completely right. We could also, if you don't want to call, we could also take emails. My personal email will go directly to my cell phone, and my computer is juan@mylegaladvocate.com. Also, you could email info@mylegaladvocate.com. Another thing we've been doing is checking insurance policies. I can tell you that I was an attorney for a few years before I started doing personal injury, and I had no idea what my insurance policy even meant. So until I started doing this area of law, I did not know. I've spoken to plenty of attorneys who still have no idea what their own insurance policies mean. Let me take a look at it. That's also completely free.
That is such a service that your firm, Marecki and Medola, has been doing the entire year of 2020 and continues to provide this service. Guys, you realize, have your car policy reviewed before the accident, before Juan has to say you don't have enough insurance. You understand what we're saying here? Proactive. Maybe you don't have enough insurance. Nobody reads their car insurance policies. So let Juan and Tim read it. Make sure that you're properly insured and email that to Juan at mylegaladvocate.com. And if you're more comfortable, just call Juan at 561-847-2868. Juan, this has been a great public safety message. Thank you for reminding us how to stay safe. And we'll see you next week on Friday at 10:30.
We will. Have a great weekend.
You too. Thanks
Thank
everybody
you
for watching, and stay safe.
Bye-bye.